They said she made the cows go dry. They said children grew sick after she walked past their homes. They said the storms followed her, so they hanged her. And when that wasn't enough, they buried her in concrete. This is the story of Rebecca Lutz, the woman some call Canada's forgotten witch. And the question that still lingers in New Brunswick's soil, was she dangerous or was she just different? In the early 1800s, rural New Brunswick was a place of isolation. Small communities clung to farmland and coastline, separated by dense forest and long stretches of silence. Religion was not just belief, it was structure, law, and social order. When crops failed, it wasn't weather. When livestock died, it wasn't disease, it was punishment. Or worse, witchcraft. Though Canada never experienced witch hunts on the scale of Salem, belief in dark influence traveled with European settlers. Fear of curses, spells, and evil women lingered quietly in the background of rural life. And in small towns, difference is dangerous. That is where Rebecca Lutz enters the story. Historical records surrounding Rebecca Lutz are sparse. What we know is pieced together from local accounts, oral history, and fragments passed down through generations. In New Brunswick communities, she lived in Annapolis County. Some describe her as a widow. Others say she was unmarried and independent, which at the time was suspicious enough. She was said to keep to herself. Some believe she practiced herbal remedies. In an era where women were expected to be obedient, social, and church-bound, Rebecca was something else. She was quiet, she was self-sufficient, she did not fit comfortably inside the structure of the town. And when things began to go wrong, people started looking for someone to blame. The first whispers weren't dramatic. A farmer claimed his livestock had fallen ill. Another said his crops were rotting strangely. Then a child became sick. Then another. In small communities, patterns are often created before they are proven. Rebecca had been seen walking near one of the farms. Rebecca had argued with someone at the market. Rebecca had refused help from a church elder. And slowly the narrative formed. She's cursed. She's touched by something. She isn't right. Fear spreads faster than disease, and once fear has a name attached to it, it becomes very hard to remove. There is no formal documentation of a structured witch trial in this case. No preserved court transcript, no official execution order, which makes what happened next even more unsettling. According to regional legend, Rebecca Lutz was accused by members of her own community of practicing witchcraft. She was blamed for illness, blamed for misfortune, blamed for things no one could explain. And in an era without modern medicine or agricultural science, misfortune required a cause. She denied it. But denial rarely stops a mob. Whether through formal hearing or community-driven punishment, the outcome was the same. She was sentenced to die. Accounts say she was hanged, not in a grand public execution, not in a courthouse square, but locally, quietly, as though the town wanted resolution without attention. Hanging was not common punishment in Canada for witchcraft. In fact, by this period, official witch executions were virtually non-existent in Canadian law, which raises a disturbing possibility. If this happened, it may not have been law, it may have been fear, and fear rarely follows rules. But even death did not calm the town, because some believe Rebecca's power would not end with her body. This is the detail that has survived most vividly. She was not buried traditionally. She was not placed gently into earth. Instead, according to local lore, her body was encased in concrete. Concrete, a material meant to seal, to contain, to prevent movement. Why? Some say the townspeople feared she would rise again. Others believed witches could escape graves unless physically restrained. There are European precedents of anti-witch burial practices, bodies buried face down, pinned, weighted with stones. Concrete would have been extreme. And yet this is the detail that persists in New Brunswick storytelling, that they were not just trying to bury her, they were trying to trap her. But here's where the story becomes more complicated, because historians question whether Rebecca Lutz was ever officially tried as a witch at all. Some researchers suggest her story may have been exaggerated over time. Others argue it reflects something deeper, not supernatural fear, but social control. Across history, accusations of witchcraft overwhelmingly targeted women who were widowed independent healers, socially isolated, or simply disliked. In small communities, being different was enough, and Rebecca Lutz may have been exactly that, an outsider. Or worse, a woman who did not rely on anyone. When crops failed, blaming weather offers no solution. Blaming a woman offers closure. If she was real, and evidence suggests she was, the witch label may have been nothing more than fear weaponized. And concrete might not have been superstition, it might have been symbolic, a way to bury shame. Some historians argue there is little official documentation proving a witch execution in New Brunswick during that period, which leaves us with a question. Is Rebecca Lutz a documented victim or a legend born from oral storytelling? But here is something important. Legends do not appear without cultural roots. They grow from something. Maybe there was no formal witch execution. Maybe she was ostracized, disgraced, or buried unusually for unrelated reasons. But the fact that communities preserve this story for generations suggests something powerful happened. Even if the details shifted over time, concrete is modern. It represents permanence. The idea that someone had to be sealed away forever speaks to something deeper than superstition. It speaks to fear of return, fear of consequence, fear that maybe they were wrong, because sometimes the scariest part of these stories isn't the accused witch. It's the people who believe they were righteous. Today, Rebecca Lutz is referenced in Canadian folklore circles as a possible example of early witch hysteria in New Brunswick. But unlike Salem, there are no preserved gallows, no marked tourist site, no famous courtroom, just fragments, whispers, and a story about a woman who was hanged, then buried in concrete. Whether literal or symbolic, her tale survives because it touches something timeless: the danger of fear, the power of rumor, and how easily communities can turn on one of their own. Maybe Rebecca Lutz was a witch. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was simply a woman who didn't fit. But history has shown us something. Again and again, when times are hard, when answers are scarce, when fear spreads, people don't look for solutions. They look for someone to blame. And sometimes they bury that blame in concrete. If you grew up in New Brunswick, have you heard this story? Do you think she was real? Or is Rebecca Lutz a warning disguised as folklore? Let me know below, because some stories aren't meant to scare you. They're meant to remind you. And sometimes the most dangerous thing in a small town isn't a witch, it's fear.